Go back.
I have crippling depression.
Yeah, free milks. Yeah.
IDubbbz is a man that needs no introduction. Back in the day, he was probably considered the white knight of racism. He was pretty significant and special to a lot of people on YouTube back in the day. It's crazy to think that some people watching this video might not even know who he was, but if you hear a name like Content Cop or Bad Unboxing, those were the two things that he was most known for. A lot of people actually used to look up to him and his content because it used to be super high effort, and he used to talk about these people that were not really using their platform for good. Now recently, I've seen a lot of IDubbbz in my recommended feed on YouTube, and I was kind of curious because the videos weren't from IDubbbz's channel. They were from the vampire blood-sucking commentary channels, and they were all talking about how he's struggling, how he's fallen off, how his channel has pretty much died. And that kind of got me curious. What is everybody talking about? Why is the great Lord and Savior IDubbbz dead? Well, as it turns out, what people were talking about is one of his recent appearance on the Cold Ones podcast. Now, the Cold Ones podcast, for those who don't know, is a podcast that's run by two of his old friends, Chad and Max Mofo. And basically, they're professional alcoholics for a living. They're very nostalgic of that old era that I was talking about earlier. Now, a lot of people were complaining that IDubbbz was absolutely terrible and horrific. I mean, a lot of the comments on the episode were actually just dunking on him completely. Like, I couldn't believe the murder I was watching going on in the comments. Bro looks like he's actually banned from having fun. IDubbbz, this entire video is literally the phrase, "the lights are on, but no one's home." Does IDubbbz even know he's there? People were really not happy about this whole episode here. And I actually watched the episode because I thought in my head, it can't be that bad. Like, obviously people must be overreacting. And honestly, after watching the episode, it almost felt like he didn't even really want to be there. I'm not sure. I'm not one to commentate on what's going on behind the scenes or even what's going on in IDubbbz's personal life or anything like that, but it just seemed very strange. So then I kind of clued in. Obviously, the commentary channels had a fucking field day with this one. It was just like a buffet feast. You know, they all made their videos acting like IDubbbz fucking mugged their mother, shot their dog, and then shit on their porch. It always makes me giggle at how overdramatic those types of channels are. But aside from that, that brings us up to date on where we are now. And this whole thing actually got me kind of interested. Like, what did this sexy little lesbian racist do to you? Now, if we're gonna take a trip into the past here, I think people started really hating on IDubbbz for the first time, at least, when he started disassociating himself with his old content. Now, as I mentioned earlier, his old content is nowhere near family friendly. That shit is like it's like a museum piece because it belongs in that perfect edgy era of YouTube. It's perfect for that time frame. It sums it all up, but it's a little dated. So in recent years, IDubbbz has kind of just disassociated himself from it. He wants nothing to do with the slurs he used to drop. He wants nothing to do with the persona he used to have. People started to speculate that it was just a phase and that he didn't really believe in that. Well, over the years, he's doubled down a lot over his position on just disassociating himself with his old content. If I remember correctly, I think he did remove a lot of the content cops, if not all of them, off of his channel, and the only way you can watch those classic timepieces is just through Reuploads, which sucks. Honestly, like, I remember back in the day, I loved those content cops. Even now, I still enjoy them. And I'll still find myself watching the Reuploads every once in a while. It's a good time. However, I don't think it's crazy to say that disassociating yourself with your past content, the past content that people subscribe to you for and still currently watch you for, is the best way to maintain an audience. I don't think that's a crazy hot take. And that kind of seems to be exactly what's happening. I mean, you get a lot of commentary channels. A lot of them were probably fans of IDubbbz in the day. I just spit everywhere. But now they're being told that they are racist, basement dwellers, and a whole bunch of just not great things that you want to be associated with as an audience member. It's a whole other discussion for me to talk about how IDubbbz believes that he was radicalizing an audience to be super racist and all that stuff with the language he used, which I personally don't believe in, but that's another video for another time. In the meantime, I just want to drop another fat fucking hot take here. I think people are being way too hard on IDubbbz. I'm just gonna say it. I said it. please don't hurt me. Please don't dox me. So I think I mentioned it already in this video, but a lot of what people's complaints are is that he should go back to the old IDubbbz. You know, that's a common complaint with every content creator that's huge. I feel like it's that the audience member doesn't want them to be making this new content. They want them to go back to the way they were. And it's just like, it just doesn't work that way, man. So seeing as I was a very casual IDubbbz fan back in the day, I decided to check out some of his new content, a couple videos he posted a few weeks ago. So I went and watched the worst game ever video, I think it was called. And again, honestly, I could kind of understand what people were saying. Honestly, the video felt very amateurish, which was kind of weird seeing as he's a YouTuber with 7 million subscribers. I don't know if that's because he's kind of just getting used to this new persona. Then I could see why it feels amateurish, because he doesn't know exactly what works and what doesn't yet. But as a content creator that's that huge and you've been doing it your whole life, I feel like you should at least have some kind of handle on it. And I don't know. It was just a weird vibe for me. It just felt very amateur, as I said already. I do think IDubbbz might be stuck a little bit in the past with himself because, as I said, I think he's trying a new character route, trying to disassociate himself, and I'm sure it's difficult to make a change like that. Or maybe his video passion for content creation is gone. Who knows? I'm not one to comment on that. But again, it just seems like people are getting so heated for nothing, essentially. I think a lot of people that watch content just want their content creators to go back to the way they were when they were first discovered, and, you know, people have a hard time dealing with change. I think that goes with anything, anywhere in life. I mean, to just lay out the facts, people change over years. You know, what happens with most content creators is that as they change as creators, the audience changes with them. You know, either they get older and adjust to the new content, or they shuffle in new people entirely. In the case of IDubbbz, I don't really think that was possible because his change, I remember it being so sudden and so out of nowhere, and I think it just really alienated a lot of people rather than let them slowly adjust to what the content is now. I watched another one of his videos, I think it was the keychain one, his most recent video, and a lot of the old IDubbbz sense of humor is there. It's kind of like a hollow shell of what it used to be. I can't put it into words. I think with IDubbbz's type of content specifically, he's got a lot of that shock humor. I mean, in the video of the keychain, he's got a fucking, one of those guns, those toy guns, and he's shooting himself down the throat with it. Honestly, not much has changed. It's just a more mature version of IDubbbz. I don't know if that's really the term I would use. It's very hard to explain. Why is this so hard to explain what this is? But let's face the reality. IDubbbz is 33 now. He's closer to being a middle-aged man than he is a 20-year-old now. You know, you see that even with PewDiePie. You're not gonna see him making an Amnesia video from when he was in his early 20s. He's a grown man now. Plus, I think if he went back to his old content, there is no fucking chance he would be able to monetize his channel. Fuck, man, even me. My videos get age restricted, demonetized so fucking frequently because there's just like an ounce of a titty or just a little bit of swearing. So there's no fucking shot in hell that IDubbbz would be able to get away with the content he used to make. But with all of that being taken into account and said, I think it's important that as a person, speaking in terms of IDubbbz, I think it's important that we as people don't disassociate with our past and don't, you know, kind of be ashamed of our past, because it's a huge part of what makes us who we are now. Even if you have a terrible past, you know, that's riddled with whatever personal demons or just things and actions you aren't proud of. Getting over that and becoming who you are now, it's a huge part of you. But our past selves are all a stepping stone to who we are now, and I don't think it's anything we should ever be ashamed of. Sure, you can absolutely condemn the actions of your past self, but the experiences you had along the way is what made you who you are now. I genuinely think that IDubbbz has a future in commentary content if he ever decided to get into that, because I think his take on current events and just internet drama and stupid shit out there would honestly be super entertaining. Plus, his sense of humor could come back to the times again, you know, come back to this decade. But who knows? Who knows what IDubbbz will do? From my perspective, I'm pretty sure he won't do anything, because why the hell would he? He's in a bubble. He's got his core audience that would watch him do anything. He's made his fat stacks. He's good, man. He doesn't need to do jack shit. Anyway, I just wanted to touch on that a little bit because I found it interesting, especially because it's a YouTuber from my past of YouTube. So yeah, anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you later.